All right, when we talk about courage, I want you to just forget the Hollywood version for a second. We're not talking about those big, dramatic, heroic moments. No, we're going to break down something much more real, something foundational. We're talking about the architecture of the kind of courage that actually builds companies.
I really love this quote because it gets right to the heart of it. Courage, it's not about being fearless. Not at all. It's that quiet moment, that internal gut check, when everything in your head is screaming, what if? And you make a choice. You choose to trust yourself just a little bit more than you trust that fear.
So let's make this tangible. We're going to dive into something I guarantee every single person listening will recognize. We call it the trembling decision.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That one small step. It's been sitting on your to-do list for how long now? Weeks, maybe even months. It's not some huge company-ending decision. Maybe it's just making that one awkward phone call or shipping that tiny feature, but it just sits there, giving off this low hum and anxiety every single time you look at it.
Now let's be crystal clear. The reason you're avoiding it isn't because you're lazy. It's something you can actually feel. It's that trembling feeling. It's a physical response to uncertainty. It's that little voice inside that whispers, I don't have enough information, or what if I get this wrong? And this feeling, it's powered by one of the biggest myths out there for founders, the idea that certainty has to come first. We think we need to feel totally confident, 100% ready, before we pull the trigger. But here's the truth. We're waiting for a feeling that, most of the time, just isn't coming.
And all this waiting, all this hesitation, it's not a neutral act. It's not free. It has a very real and a very high cost. It's just often completely invisible.
We actually have a name for it, the certainty tax. And you really need to hear this. This is the silent killer of entrepreneurial momentum. Just think about it. Every single day you wait for perfect information, you are paying this tax. You're paying it with lost opportunities, with stalled momentum, and maybe worst of all, you're paying it with your own self-trust.
So you basically have two paths in front of you, and this lays it out perfectly. Path 1, you choose direction. Even if your hands are shaking, you move. And what happens? You reinforce self-trust. You build momentum. Then there's path 2. You choose delay. You wait. And what does that get you? Well, it just feeds self-doubt. It creates stagnation. The choice couldn't be clearer. Are you building who you are through action, or are you just waiting around for a feeling?
So this all leads to a really powerful and I think liberating shift in how we think about courage itself.
I want you to really sit with this question for a moment. What if we've been getting it all wrong? What if we're all out here chasing this feeling of being brave, when courage isn't a feeling at all? What if it's simply a decision?
And boom! This is where we completely flip the script. We think we need confidence before we can act, right? Wrong. It's the other way around. Confidence is the result of the action. It comes after. Courage is just the bridge you build to get there. It's that tiny, quiet choice to trust your gut over your doubt for one single next step.
Okay, so if courage is a choice, if it's a decision, then that's fantastic news because it means we can build a system for it. We can make it a repeatable process, something you can use even when, and especially when, you feel that fear.
And here it is. We call it the small truth protocol. Think of this as a mechanical process for manufacturing courage. It's just 4 steps. 1, identify that one thing you're avoiding, that trembling decision. 2, ask yourself a different question. Not what's safe, but what feels true. This is so important. Safe is about avoiding fear. True is about moving in your chosen direction. 3, execute. Take the absolute smallest version of that true step. And 4, repeat. That's it. Every time you run this loop, you're building that muscle. You're reinforcing trust in yourself.
But this protocol, it's about so much more than just ticking boxes on a to-do list. When you do this, it actually starts to change who you are.
And if there's one thing you take away from all of this today, let it be this. Identity builds in motion. You don't find your identity as a leader. You don't just wait for it to appear. You forge it, piece by piece, in these small, uncertain moments. The person you want to become is built one tiny, true step at a time.
So that really leaves you with a choice, doesn't it? Are you going to keep paying that certainty tax? Are you going to keep waiting for this magical feeling of readiness that, let's be honest, might never show up? Or are you ready to build right now, starting today from where you are?
If you're ready to make that shift, to stop waiting and start building, then the link you see here is your next logical step. It's all about how to really strengthen this identity work, how to truly build in motion. Thanks for digging into this with me.